This is the story that has me fired up again tonight. It is day number 6 of protest in Wisconsin, and it exploded. Upwards of 30,000 people gathered today to say no. We have been all over this story from the very beginning, and now the rest of the national media is waking up. CNN finally realized that protests just don't happen in the Middle East. The conservative cabal also went on the attack today. Karl Rove, interestingly enough, went after it, jumped all over the unions on Fox. Here comes Glenn Beck spinning another crazy conspiracy theory about unions and, of course, the President of the United States. And the drugster trashed the president and Madison protesters all day on his show. And, of course, all the national media attention actually made some Republicans nervous in the state of Wisconsin and asking Governor Scott Walker to make some minor changes to the proposal. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reporting that Republican Senators Dale Schultz, thank God no relation, and Van Wangard were backing a plan to put at least some union bargaining rights back into the bill. Believe me, folks, it's window dressing. It's not real. Later this afternoon, another major shoe dropped. The President of the United States finally ended his silence in an interview with the Milwaukee NBC affiliate, and the President made this comment.
I'd say that I haven't followed exactly what's happening with the Wisconsin budget. I've got some budget problems here in Washington I've had to focus on. I would say as a general proposition that everybody's got to make some adjustments to new fiscal realities. And I think if we want to avoid layoffs, which I want to avoid, I don't want to see layoffs of hardworking federal workers. We had to impose, for example, a freeze on pay increases for federal workers for the next 2 years as part of my overall budget freeze. I think those kinds of adjustments are the right thing to do.
Mr. President, whose side are you on? And where are the Democrats tonight? We'll investigate that a little bit later on in the show. But what's going on here in Wisconsin is not a fiscal reality. My friends, if you take one thing out of this program tonight, know this. There is no financial crisis in the state of Wisconsin. Later in the show, I'll prove that Governor Walker is basically cooking the books to make things look worse than they really are. For the president to use this fiscal reality talking point, I think, is very dangerous. Governors like Walker and Kasich down in Ohio will take that comment and they're going to run with it, in a way. President Obama has given the green light to cut anything they want. Now, the president was also very careful to show support for unions today, which was surprising.
Some of what I've heard coming out of Wisconsin, where you're just making it harder for public employees to collectively bargain generally, seems like more of an assault on unions. And I think it's very important for us to understand that public employees, they're our neighbors. They're our friends. These are folks who are teachers, and they're firefighters, and they're social workers, and they're police officers. They make a lot of sacrifices and make a big contribution, and I think it's important not to vilify them or to suggest that somehow all these budget problems are due to public employees.
Okay. So where are the Democrats? Where's the White House on this? Now, we know that the governor of Wisconsin has got some tough decisions to make, and there's these new fiscal realities out there, and he's had to live with them, too, with federal employees. But wait a minute, all the union people that are work very hard for Wisconsin, they're very good people, and we don't want to vilify them. Stop the fence riding, America. That's not good enough. None of the made-up budget crisis is the fault of public employees. 30 years of Republican policy is the only reason a state like Wisconsin is hurting financially, if they are hurting. I think the president is slow to the punch on this story. It only took him a couple of days to come out and stand with the Egyptian protesters. This is day number 6 in Madison. Okay, it's not on his radar screen. President Obama is sitting in the White House because hardworking union folk, like the ones in Madison, went door to door, made phone calls, social network to get him elected. These people need the president to stop parroting the right-wing talking points and make what I would say an unequivocal stand for the rights of these workers. This is what the Democratic Party is about. President Obama isn't the only one dropping the ball on this story. Democratic leadership has been dreadfully silent. We reached out to senators who've got a lot of labor in their states, like Senator Reid In Nevada, there, of course, is a proposal there to knock off minimum wage. Senator Durbin in Illinois, Senator Stabenow in Michigan, Senator Schumer here in New York. Stabenow didn't respond, and the rest of them have made no comment on the story. Can we wake them up tonight that this is the blueprint for them to take down the infrastructure of the very people that support all of you in your campaigns to keep the progressive agenda alive in this country? We also reached out to Nancy Pelosi. Shockingly, she had nothing. May I say tonight that I find this absolutely unacceptable. The protesters in Madison are fighting for the very principles of the Democratic Party. I don't want you to think that they deserve something like this.
What is the price? We ask the other side. What is the price that you want from these working men and women? What cost? How much more do we have to give to the private sector and the business? How many $billion more are you asking? Are you requiring? When does the greed stop?
Yeah. We got to go back into the file tape and remind Democrats that's how you fight for workers when it's all on the line, when it's in the 11th hour of negotiations, when 30,000 people show up. That's the way it's got to sound in the chamber. But the Democrats, well, they got other things we're worried about in Washington right now. You have nothing more to worry about than what they are saying in the heartland. And I guess we could say when we see Senator Kennedy there that maybe they just don't make them like they used to. Working class Americans need a hero again. They need the Democrats to show that the fire and the passion of these issues is still very much alive. I believe that this is a defining moment for the progressive movement in America. Why? Because this is ground zero for labor. The reason Republicans are trying to steal money from the poor and destroy the unions is very simple. If they undercut labor, it will undercut everyone in this country who makes a paycheck. Labor sets the bar for wages. Don't think they don't. Republicans are on a mission to serve their corporate masters. If they take away the right to organize, it will mean every worker in the United States will have to fend for themselves against corporate America. And if you think that's going to be a fair fight, you got another thing coming. Democrats need to stand with these great Americans who are out there every day. This is a fight for the very soul of this country, and these protesters can't do it alone. The country needs to pay attention to this. Every worker needs to pay attention to this. Every elected Democrat needs to pay attention to this. The program, The Ed Show, which you are watching right now, will originate from Madison, Wisconsin tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. The Wisconsin Assembly might vote on a bill as soon as tomorrow, and we'll be there to give you the latest. Because the big question is, now where do we go? Because it looks like it's going to pass. And I'm glad America is starting to wake up to this story now that the Democrats maybe got the message tonight that, maybe just the Democratic senators that I mentioned a moment ago could get together in front of the cameras on Capitol Hill and say that we know that those workers in Wisconsin are being victimized by phony numbers of a budget that don't add up, that are nothing but a product of a right-wing governor who wants to attack labor. And it is ground zero to spread to other states across the country that are going to try to grab the infrastructure and the support of the progressive movement in America. Come on, Harry, say something, will you? Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's text question is President Obama backing Wisconsin workers 100%? Text A for yes, text B for no to 622-639. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. You see, folks, every campaign now is national because of Citizens United. The money that's going to be flowing in against Democrats in the next election cycle is going to be unprecedented. It will reach historic levels. And if we as a country, as workers, as middle classers, if we can't find a heart, a soul, if we can't find our pulse on an issue like this, we're done. It's over. It's going to be over. There will be a supermajority in the United States Senate. What do you think about that?